This video will show you how to assemble the MM-B212BR mini bike. If this is your first Megamoto purchase, please allow me to be the first to welcome you to the Megamoto family. Before you begin assembly, we recommend watching this video in full prior to removing the bike from the steel shipping crate. Making sure you understand all instructions before you begin is important to your safety. Assembly for this Megamoto mini bike should take about 15 to 30 minutes, depending on your experience level. Here's a list of tools needed to complete assembly. Make sure you have protective gloves, something to safely cut open the box and wires with, and an adjustable wrench. Everything else is included in the toolkit. Cut the zip tie that secures the plastic bag containing the printed assembly instructions, owner's manual, and certificate of origin. Remove the parts box. Loosen and remove the nut on the axle bolt and remove one fork leg and set it aside. Remove one axle spacer and set aside. Slide the axle out, making sure to hold on to the other axle spacer. Pull out the axle bolt and the other fork leg and set aside the spacer, axle bolt, and fork leg. Remove the 6 nuts and bolts that secure the top of the steel shipping crate. Pull off and discard the top. Remove the 18 nuts and bolts that secure the vertical and angled steel crate supports. Remove the supports and discard them. Remove the front wheel tire assembly and set aside. Cut and remove the 2 steel wires that secure the front of the mini bike to the bottom of the steel shipping crate. Leave the 2 steel wires that secure the rear of the mini bike to the bottom of the steel shipping crate. These will help keep the bike secure until you have completed assembly. Remove the bubble wrap on the handlebar and lay the handlebar on top of the mini bike frame. Place the upper fork plate on top of the steering head and install the large chrome washer. Then the large chrome nut and hand tighten. Locate the right fork leg. It should be a plain black fork. And remove the chrome bolt from the top. Insert the chrome fork tube into the bottom of the right fork plate, left side as shown on the video, and push it up until it reaches the upper fork plate. Insert the chrome bolt through the top fork plate and thread it into the top of the fork tube. Hand tighten. Now, locate the left fork leg. It should be the one with the metal and molded brackets. Then, remove the chrome bolt from the top. Insert the chrome fork tube into the bottom of the left fork plate, right side as shown in the video, and push it up until it reaches the upper fork plate. Insert the chrome bolt through the top fork plate and thread it into the top of the fork tube. Hand tighten. Tighten the 2 chrome bolts in the tops of the fork tubes using the 17mm wrench. Tighten the large chrome nut with an adjustable wrench. Place the split washer, flat washer, then the brake hose bracket on the lower fork plate bolt, and thread it into the left side fork plate. Make sure it's the left side as seen when you're sitting on the bike. Tighten the bolt by hand. Then, of the 2 rubber sleeves on the brake hose, move the upper rubber sleeve up and into the brake hose bracket. Now, tighten the bolt with the 10mm wrench. On the other side, place the split washer, then the flat washer on the bolt and insert it on the right side of the lower fork plate. Tighten with the 10mm wrench. Lift up the handlebar and insert 2 handlebar clamp bolts into the 2 holes in the upper fork plate. Install 2 chrome nuts onto the bolts and tighten with the 14mm wrench. Make sure the wires and hoses are not twisted and are positioned as shown. Place the headlight assembly on top of the bottom fork plate. And insert the 2 bolts through the 2 holes in the headlight bracket and through the corresponding holes in the lower fork plate. Please note that the fender is round at the front and square at the back. Place the fender up under the lower fork plate and position the holes in the fender bracket over the 2 bolts. Install the nuts on the bolts. Then tighten with the 10mm wrench on the bolt and 12mm wrench on the nut. Connect the wires as shown. 2-pin red and white wires together. 3-pin white, green, blue wires with the 3-pin white, black wires. And 2-pin black wires with the white stripe together. Make sure the clips lock into place. Push the 3 connectors into the hole in the back of the headlight shell. Make sure no wires will bind between the lower fork plate and the frame. There are 2 axle spacers, both the same size. Place the axle bolt through the hole at the bottom of the right fork leg, left side as shown on the video, until it comes through about 1 inch. Place one of the spacers on the end of the axle bolt. Place the tire between the 2 forks with the disc on the left of the bike, right side as shown on the video. The tire tread should make a V shape. Place the axle through the hole in the center of the wheel until it is about 1 inch out of the other side. Place the other axle spacer on the end of the axle bolt. Now, push the axle bolt through the hole in the other fork. Install the nut on the axle bolt. With the 15mm wrench, hold the head of the axle bolt and tighten the nut with a 17mm wrench. Make sure there is space between the 2 pads in the front brake caliper. Position the caliper over the disc, making sure the disc goes between the 2 pads. Install the 2 caliper bolts and tighten with the 12mm wrench. Move the rubber hose sleeve up and place it in the hose bracket. This shows that the disc is between the 2 brake pads. There are 4 mounting points on the CVT cover, 2 at the bottom and 2 at the top. There are 3 short bolts and 1 long bolt with a nut. The lower front and both top mounts use the short bolts. The lower rear mount uses the long bolt and the nut. Place the CVT cover over the CVT as shown. Install the 3 short bolts and the long bolt and nut. With the 8mm wrench, tighten the 3 short bolts. With the 8mm and 10mm wrenches, tighten the lower rear bolt and nut. Remove the bubble wrap and cardboard tubes from the ends of the handlebar. Tilt the mini bike to the right and gently and slowly squeeze the brake lever about 1/2 inch several times. This is to remove any air that might have gotten into the brake line during shipping. Check that the lever has resistance by squeezing it. It should feel firm and not pull to the handlebar grip. If it's still not firm, redo the process of tilting the bike and gently squeezing the lever several times. Now, tilt the bike in the other direction and repeat this on the other side for the front brake. Remove the oil filler cap with the yellow tag and discard the tag. Add 20 ounces of 10W30 motor oil to the engine and replace the filler cap. Cut and remove the 2 steel wires that secure the rear of the mini bike. Cut and remove the wires that secure the foot pegs. Remove the mini bike from the lower steel shipping crate and place the bike on the side stand. Discard the crate. Add a few drops of oil to the clutch as described in the owner's manual. Remove the gas cap, discard the yellow hang tag, and add up to 9/10 of a gallon of fuel. Replace the gas cap. On the carburetor, move the black fuel lever forward to the on position and the gray choke lever back to the start position. On the handlebar, press the smaller red button to the on position. Allow about half a minute for the carburetor to fill up with fuel, then pull the pull start handle back and up firmly to start the mini bike. Once the bike is running and has had a little time to warm up, move the gray choke lever forward to the run position. When you want to turn off the bike, press the larger red button on the handlebar to the off position. Then, turn off the fuel by moving the black fuel lever to the off position. You're all set to start enjoying your new BR Pro Series mini bike. If you need any further support, please don't hesitate to reach out to our team at support@megamotousa.com. From the Megamoto family to yours, congratulations on your new BR Pro Series mini bike. We hope your mini bike gives you the full Megamoto experience. Pure, unconditional fun.